Good evening, everyone.
Welcome, listeners.
Hope everybody's doing well.
I hope you're all having a nice evening.
Yeah, it's another Wednesday. It's episode 15, Neil.
15.
15 of social media. Social media ruins everything.
Excellent.
You've
15.
had an eventful afternoon, haven't you?
Well, the van broke, second time. Injector problem.
You think?
Probably.
So your van's parked outside, which means, how are you getting home?
I'm going to spend the night here, me and Cam.
I could have offered you Fergus's bed, but that would just be wrong because he would be in it.
He's in it. Nah. Sorry, no. Cam's more my age.
I thought he'd be too skinny for you.
Twink.
That's I'm quitting
The
the
beer
show.
and the twink. The beer and the twink.
Oh, fuck me. Right, so basically what that means is we'll be doing our normal live show, recording of episode 15 up until around about 8:30, and then Neil has to leave because his very long-suffering wife is travelling down to pick him up.
Yep. She's been drove for Ayrshire as well up the road today.
Oh, fuck's
So
sake.
she'll need to get a taco. She'll need to hide the tachograph for the old police.
Why?
She's bringing her lorry down. So it's a long drive. I'll drive back up the road though.
Aye. So that's why you're not drinking any alcoholic beverages.
No.
Aye, so you're going to need to get your van fixed. So buymeacoffee.com/SMRE or head over to patreon.com/SMRE. Now, all joking aside, so normally we would go in for about an hour and a half on this, and then we'd be jumping over onto the private stream. We'll still go ahead with the private stream, but producer Cam's going to jump into Neil's hot seat with Neil's permission. You're
Right.
actually taking that seat with you.
I'm
'cause you
taking
brought
this
it
seat
down.
with me, so you'll need to wheel this seat over.
Aye,
I'll
so-
leave my clothes in that for me. Can just change into my clothes.
Okay, if you're an audio listener, if you're listening to the audio podcast, thank you. Thank you for subscribing to the audio podcast. And if you're watching this tonight, hopefully you're going to enjoy it. We've got some good stuff we're going to be talking about
Oh,
tonight.
loads. We've got a bumper show.
Fucking hell. And if you're a listener, head over to YouTube and search for Social Media Ruins Everything, and you'll be able to watch these shows. We've got the two camera angles tonight. We've gone all professional. Neil's got his own dedicated wide angle camera for if he's going to be talking about anything quite in depth. You said you were going to write some stuff down. You had something written in your notebook. You wanted to bring up to me.
What did I write in the notebook?
I've no idea. You said I was going to talk to you about something, and I've written it in my notebook.
I'll find it.
You were looking through your notebook earlier.
Aye,
did
that
nothing?
was just a wee note that I had. It was only about telling people to fuck off on a live stream. Because I was watching Mark Maron, I was watching his lives, and then there was a guy on, and he says, "I don't want to watch you cook." He was making something.
Right.
He says, "I don't want to watch you cook," and he says, "All right, I'll solve that for you then. Fuck off," and then just blocked him, which I think that was nice. I think that was. I don't think that's what I wrote down for you though.
No, it was something to do. It was something to do with the show last week. I think it was something to do with my anxiety, my autism. Yeah, I could keep going.
I don't know. Maybe I'll look for it.
Perfectionism.
And I'll see. You've calmed down after last week.
Last week, it's funny. So last week's show took a lot of processing for me. And
Processing.
To be honest with you,
Let's unpack that.
we will unpack it. I mean, obviously, the whole theme of this show from day one has been our reluctant need to make content, but also the thing that goes along with that, the kind of second guessing of yourself. Like, why am I doing this? Is this any good? Everybody's going to fucking hate it. And then obviously last week it was the first time we'd sort of recorded in this format, and I wasn't happy with the lighting, I wasn't happy with the camera position, I wasn't happy with the sound. I kept fiddling with my mic arm until it fucking just flew off the table. So, and usually I'll rewatch the live show afterwards, and I kind of make a wee mental note of the stuff I'm going to clip up. I couldn't even look at anything until later on in the Thursday evening, which was really, really unusual for me.
Oh, aye.
Aye. But
What was the matter? Were you just out of sorts?
out of sorts, because I just felt, I think you try and put, we want to produce the best content. We don't want to produce shite. And I felt the content last week was shite. Now, a few folk have said, no, it was absolutely fine. It was actually
I think
quite
they were
good.
just being nice to you.
I think they were just being nice to me, exactly.
This is what I
But it
think
goes
of
back
my
to we
whole
can't
life.
take a compliment.
But this is what I think of my whole life. I think people just being nice to you. I think
Aye.
people just like you'll say that to people. You say nice stuff to people
Aye.
just for being nice.
Aye,
right?
all the time.
So all the time.
Yep.
So why the fuck would people be any different? They're just that's nice, well done, man, well
Yep.
done. But
Yep.
really, they don't mean it.
Aye, I mean,
They go back and they talk to their mates and they're like, I says well done and that, but really I'm meaning Monty fuck
cancelling
mate.
my
Square.
Patreon. It was fucking shite. No, so it took me a couple of days to kind of figure out what it was that was going on, and just the stuff that wasn't right. And it came down to the whole thing. I hadn't put the work in first. So it's that the whole mindset or that philosophy. If you don't put the work in, how can you expect something to be good? You can't always just chance your arm and go by luck and it's going to be good. You don't make a table or a chair and you just kind of like half-ass it together and go, there you go, that'll be okay, that'll do. You try and do the best possible job you can, and I try and do that in here. Try and do it with all the work that I do. Don't always get it right. Last week I didn't get it right. So hopefully tonight looks and sounds better. And
I was thinking that the day when you're saying about work, I was thinking that driving up here today, there's a lot of people who work hard, who are always moaning they don't have any money. See the people that I know that don't work that hard, right? They just get by. They're all right.
Aye.
So I think there's a connection there. Don't try.
Don't try, okay?
No, I mean try. No, I think you've tried. Look at this. Look at the spread you've put on tonight. It's fucking beautiful. A beautiful spread tonight.
Talking about a beautiful spread, we had a rather nice pizza before we started tonight. One of the perks of Neil coming down here, he gets his dinner put down to him. Normally Gemma would do it, but it was a bald guy with a beard that done it. No, we got nice, and we'll give them a shout out at the Kirky Hot Food Club.
Yeah, thanks very much. If you use the code SMRE, they're giving you 10% off all pizzas through till November.
Yep. Finniston didn't fucking bite.
Nah.
Which is a bit disappointing.
Well, they're a high-end clothing brand, aren't they? They're an expensive. It's expensive.
It's expensive. I wouldn't say it's good. I mean, they're obviously going after the Carhartt. I would say that they're kind of going that kind of workwear type thing, you know. But I've never actually tried one of their shirts on, for example. Carhartt shirts last forever.
Aye.
I've got Carhartt shirts in there that have been washed hundreds of times.
There we go. Another fashion. A fashion supplement brought to you by Mark.
Yes.
Well, they never bit. They know what
Never bit.
I mean,
no. I mean, they reposted the story where I tagged them in it.
Did you get any followers for it? Was there any followers on it?
I don't think so. No, I don't know how. I don't even know how you'd find that out. It wasn't me. It was on SMRE podcast.
Aye, but on the
Instagram.
SMRE, was there no any followers? You'll see it usually.
Does it show you?
Say they repost, you'll be able to see if you got a few followers that day.
Right.
For their
Right, do you know what?
influence.
I don't think so.
Nah,
No.
I never either.
Probably folk that follow them will follow them for the photographs of the kind of good-looking young models wearing the gear, and then it's a story where it's us two, and they're like,
All right.
I quite like my hat. My mum bought me. Aye,
I got this from my birthday money.
it was a wee bit off-brand our content, but there we go. Are you roasting? Are you starting to sweat? Are you all right?
No, I'm
You
all right. You know, I
Cliff?
probably will start sweating in a
Aye.
bit.
We'll get Cam, producer Cam, to open one of the windows.
Yeah, all right.
The one on the right, Cam, when you get a chance.
No, well, that's it. I don't know if it is off-brand, though, man. You know, I don't know if people buy that. I don't know if do you think people buy that.
What
Say
things
that
are off-brand?
Say they wouldn't want to post a thing, or we wouldn't really want to be associated with that company or that whatever or that person. You know, do you think that's a thing? I'm not sure if that's a real thing.
It is a real thing, definitely. Having worked in marketing for brands, there's definitely. You all right, Cam? All right. Aye, it's definitely a thing. We're on Instagram in particular, the grid is planned out sometimes months in advance.
Aye.
So that the grid is cohesive. It looks a certain way, and then you're not, and nobody else will be allowed to touch it. So Adele, we were talking about Adele before we went live.
Don't tell people that.
Well, we were talking about she's quite real in the fact that she's got a Twitter account, but she's not allowed to actually. She doesn't have the login details for her Twitter account because she might go off-brand, which in itself is dead interesting.
Oh, is that why? Yeah.
Because she is the brand. Or she
Right,
said it
okay.
herself. She's because I would end up posting the wrong things.
Oh, okay.
I'd say the wrong things. And what she means is she would say things she'd get cancelled for.
Aye.
Because she's a typical North London lassie that likes a drink and likes a night out and all the
Aye.
rest of it. So of course she would tweet things that would maybe be slightly inappropriate. So there's a brand around her. There's a brand around clothing, right? And it's all carefully planned out by fucking teams that have meetings in London. And in fact, the guy I interviewed the other night from other podcast, he used to work for
another ad for something else. Mark's
didn't
other
even-
project.
didn't even fucking mention it. He's worked for design agencies in the past, and he's now doing, among other things, consultancy to distilleries and whiskey brands, because that's the world that he operates in, and he knows it inside out. And he was saying a lot of times the distilleries don't have any control over what's on their social media marketing because it has to be on brand.
All the marketing companies have got.
So the marketing companies in London
fucking
are
brilliant.
handling that for them. So, and I remember meeting marketing folk for a distillery on Isla. I can't remember which one it was, but they were like, we can't post anything on our Instagram. It's all done by a marketing agency in London.
Brilliant.
They live on the fucking island where the distillery is. Can he do it?
Fucking brilliant.
So being on brand's important.
What's the... What could I do then? What could I do for my stuff, my business? I struggle to think I have a business. What would I do? Make a few things, take numerous pictures of all the stuff I want to sell, and just plan it out every day. Post a thing.
I think what you should do for your grid is, and
I just thought you were going to start laughing.
No, not at all.
Right, okay,
I thought you were asking me.
No, I'm asking you
professional
serious.
capacity.
Aye.
What I would do with your grid is I would alternate the days. So one day it would be a well-taken photograph of one of the products. One day it would be a wee graphic with one of your quotes or a wee saying that kind of reflects your personality. And then maybe the third day a wee kind of well-taken behind the scenes workshop shot. And that's your 3-day cycle.
What quote though? Would you put a quote on? You seriously put a quote on?
You could come up.
Man.
But you've always get fucking quotes.
I know, but I couldn't post that. Imagine posting a quote.
We'll post something that would be more on brand with I
might try that. I'm going to try that. I'm going to try and do that. I'm going to take some nice pictures. I'm going to try that.
You got your new camera coming, ain't you?
No, because it was the date was delayed and all that, so I have to
start again.
Get a new one.
The camera you've got, what lens is it you use again?
I've got like the 12 to 24 or the 20-40-70. Sorry, that lens right there. That one.
That one.
Aye.
That's a 16 to 35.
This one here.
That's a 10 to 22.
I've got the 20-40-70. So I'll take it. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. Take some. The only thing is I don't have nice like pictures of finished stuff. You know.
Right.
I need to.
So build up a library.
I'll build up a library.
If I was consulting to your brand, I would say you need a library of content. So that would be your phone or a hard drive is just full of content. And any day of the week, whatever you want, you can just go in and get it and put it on your marketing.
Aye.
But you think of your quotes, right? So you said last week you're starting to write a wee book, right? Or it could be you take some quotes from stuff you've said in your YouTube videos, you just put the quotation marks around it and put it on, and just have Neil McKinley down the bottom.
I mean, I might do that,
And then colour.
The quote thing freaks me out, but other than that.
And the background of the graphic for the quotes, colour code it according to the season. So what are the autumnal colours, find out what they are, and then work into winter, and then spring, and then summer. And then your grid, when a potential customer scrolls through your grid, it's all nice and cohesive. There's a brand.
A brand. That's it. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a brand.
There you go. That's what you need to do.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that and see, and I'll report back in a few weeks and see what the whole thing is worked out as.
You'll be rolling up here in a new van.
A new van that works, a nice one, a chauffeur.
Oh, right. Cam, what's the comments doing? Anything interesting?
Rob Simpson has changed his profile picture. Of course,
what a fucking weirdo downloading a photograph of me.
Well,
finding a photograph of me.
That'll be on his phone.
It's on his phone.
And
his wife will be like, "Who the fuck's that?
Who's this?
Who's the handsome bald guy?"
Stud here?
Well, and then he's come back with this. Thought a profile of a picture of our divine leader was mandatory.
Mandatory.
Well, if we've got time tonight, before Neil shoots off, we'll go through the steps to identify whether you're in a cult or not. It's an actual thing. Anything else, Cam?
Scott says you should do a solo Patreon video where you go into Neil's flaws.
Please do.
We can do that tonight. But that goes back to what we've been asked for a couple of times. We need to get they want our significant others to do a podcast where they'll reveal our flaws. And I said, I think it was last week or the week before, Mary's like, I would do it. And I'll tell them what you're really like. Aye, okay then. So Gemma's coming here Is she coming up the stairs? Is she just going to toot the
She'll
horn?
probably just beat my horn.
Ah, that's fucking tell her to come up and we'll get her on.
Gemma doesn't do any social media stuff. She's got an Instagram though that she starts doing, but
because Gemma's account showed up my Instagram, and I thought it said she'd followed
some
me.
other guy had done that is what sent me the thing and says, "Oh look, guys."
Aye, so Instagram's recommending that we follow your wife. So I went on, since she's not got her Instagram account set as private.
Oh man, I'm going to need to have a word with her.
Right. So I could see it. So I had a wee scroll through it, and I found a photograph of the two of yous on your wedding day.
Aye.
And
Brilliant.
I said to you, I took a screenshot of it and just zoomed into your face, and you're holding your youngest, your middle boy.
Middle boy, aye,
You're holding your middle boy, and he was quite young, maybe about a year old or something like
aye.
that. And I sent it to you in WhatsApp, and I said, see, when I sing the wee songs about pedos, that's what's in my head.
That's what I look like when I shave, man. It's terrible when I shave, and I think it was like a few Christmases ago, 3 or 4, and shaved just too much, and I get carried away. Shaved it right down. I was like, that's terrible look, man. I don't have a chin, and I think because I've got older, I've got a wee bit fatter, and there's a double chin.
What guys with beards notice is when you get the beard gives you an artificial jawline,
Aye.
right? That's more masculine.
Oh,
That's
aye.
why you have it. That's
Aye.
why. And then when you get rid of your beard, as I've had to do on a couple of occasions as well, you're like, why don't I have a chin or a jaw?
It's worse every time you go back
Aye,
in.
'cause you're older and a bit
fucking hell.
fatter.
Aye, and you've this double chin. Oh man.
I mind Scott
embarrassing.
Porterfield. When I first met Scott, he had a beard, and you know, I used to go to the shop that he worked in regularly, and then he came up to my house one time, and he just stood in my front door, and he's like, I've made a mistake. And he'd shaved his beard off.
Looking vulnerable, standing there.
I've made a mistake. And that's what it feels like, but isn't it?
Aye, when you do it, you think, I've just went too much. I just said I'll shave it down a bit, but then because you see like an Instagram post or a magazine, I thought I have some nice stubble. I would look just like that guy with a 6-pack and all that, you know, fucking shave it off. You're standing there, fucking, it's no
Your
nice.
chin's folding into
Aye,
your neck.
it's horrible.
Aye, I remember I went to a barber shop in town. What's that barber shop you used to go to, Cam?
Mohair.
Mohair. And there's a guy that works in there, and he's got like the tattooed face. He's got the big fucking loop in his ear and all
aye.
that. And it was him I had my appointment with to get my beard trimmed. And I says, look, I want to keep the length, but just kind of square it up, tidy it up, and all that kind of stuff. So obviously, when you're getting your beard trimmed, your head's right back in the seat, so you can't see the mirror. It's not like a haircut where you can see what they're doing and react in shock at what they're doing if they're not doing it right. So I've got my head back, and I could feel the clippers getting quite close to my chin, and I was like, right, okay, I don't know what he's doing there. And then when it was time for me to sit up, I looked in the mirror, and my beard looked like you know, the Big Lebowski, the John Goodman character, it was just that strap like that, and I
Like one of the brothers EastEnders back in the day.
Aye. So I take him home and get my own clippers and just take it back to the wood.
Oh no!
Oh, it was so disappointing. But I entered a beard competition in 2019.
Oh, you never did you?
Aye.
Oh man, I
No,
never knew.
remember me talking
how
about
gay you were really were.
you know, I've spoken in the member show about you know, there's been times where I've been looking for community and all that kind of stuff,
Aye.
right, because of my past. And there was a brand of beer oils and balms that I used to buy called Brawbeard, and they had a Facebook page, and it was a thriving community on there, and all the guys were, you know, they would just chat about stuff. But every year Brawbeard would hold the Brawbeard Beard and Moustache Championships in the Drygate next to Tenants. So it was the middle of 2018. In fact, it was the start of 2018 because they just had it, and it looked like it was a fucking brilliant night because all the photographs, and you know what I mean, they've got a bar, and there's folk come from all over the world with the crazy beards, and they're just ordinary guys, and so it looked really, really good. And I thought, fuck it, I'm going to go next year, I'm going to compete. So I entered the 4-inch and under category, which is just a strange. It's like,
What did you wear?
I know,
What did
exactly,
you wear?
exactly. It's a
A
fucking
leotard.
exactly.
Fucking brilliant.
But I had to really grow because a 4-inch beard is actually longer than you would think. It's,
Aye.
you know,
4
so-
inches
so
is a
that's-
good size, man.
what's
4
that?
inches is a good size.
Aye, so it was longer than I thought. So basically, I grew my beard out throughout 2018, and then at the start of 2019, and I would get it regularly maintained by the barber who would just shape it and all that kind of stuff. And I entered the beard competition. I didn't
you
play.
win?
Nah, I didn't fucking
Ah.
win.
What do you need to do? Stand there and flex and that? Just
It's,
stand.
it's awkward, and do you know what? We went
Fucking right,
in.
it's awkward.
I went with Mary, and we went with her brother, and his wife, and we got a bite to eat and a drink and all that in the dry gate, and then we went into the main hall bit, and so there was a couple of categories before my category, and basically what you do is you go up one side of the stage, and there's a compere guy who was a stand-up comedian. He's wearing the kilt and all that, and you go up and he's like, right, what's your name and all that, what is it you're doing? And he tries to make a wee joke with you.
Oh no.
And everybody's standing and they applaud, and you go over to the judges' table and they have a wee chat with you and have a wee feel of your beard and that kind of stuff. So I saw that happening and I was like,
fuck this, I'm
fuck
out of here,
this, man, fuck this.
Oh, I'm not feeling well, I'm having another heart
then
attack.
It was like, but then it was like Mary's brother and his wife had come along to see, and it's like, you can't let the fans down. So I went up and it was awkward, and I went over to the judges' table and they were kind of
touching their beard.
They were, only one guy did, but they were a wee bit like what you were saying earlier on when folk go, it was fine, it was fine. They go, your beard's good, mate, your beard's good, and they're like, that's nothing special. But it was a good night, and I spoke to a couple of guys like that had come from Germany and other places that had the big mad beards and all that, and I spoke to a couple of guys that had travelled up for like a beard club, and these beard clubs were the guys meet. So they'd come up for the Liverpool Beard Club, and they were there, and I chatted to them, so it was actually alright.
Big gang fights and that. My beard's better than
It
yours.
was, you know what? It was a good like male community, because obviously there's no women in it.
Sorry.
Can you say that? There's no women.
No, I
with
mean, I
beard.
get it. I mean, what, golf clubs only started accepting women a few years ago, you know what I mean?
And sometimes men
but the
need
whole
that
male
space.
community is funny. It just sounds so gay all the time. See, like I saw a bus the other day, and it was like men matter too, and it's men matter too. You know, it's like, and it's like it's just so fucking. It just sounds gay.
That sounds like the sequel to a gay porno.
But it's just that's the. That does like you've seen the hetero version, now the gay version. Men matter too. It's like that. It sounds gay, all that male community. I get it. It's a normal thing, you know. Even when I just think it's funny.
I remember speaking to the guys for the Liverpool one. They said they do a lot of stuff with men with mental health and all that. And and the argument was there isn't enough for men, so they're like, well, there's a fucking beard community, only men. And I know I'm risking being cancelled by saying that, but only men can grow a beard. So here's a wee community thing, and they meet up at a pub or whatever, and it's just dudes talking to one another. And I was like, fair enough, man.
They walk in the door. I'm here for the beard club. Yes, you have got mental illness for turning up to a beard club. Okay. Fucking hell, that's good, man.
It's fine.
Did you join a club after it?
No, I kept the beard. I kept the length of the beard for maybe about another month, and then I got it shorter and shorter, and now I mean, this is today I got it trimmed. I was down to the barbers and I got it trimmed, but I've been trimming it myself. I mean, I've had my beard professionally trimmed twice and since March 2020, because obviously the barber shop was shut.
Is he busy?
He's really busy now. He's doing well. He's got a cracking place. It's such a chill vibe. He's got a wee fake putting green thing and all that. It's brilliant.
Oh, that's cool.
And he plays.
It's probably one of the best barbers I've been to in terms of just being able to have a chat with the actual barber as well. You sit there and you're kind of like, you'd rather take a wee bit shorter, because the conversation you will have is
good chat. And it's on a Saturday, it's brilliant. On a Saturday, it's just full of guys, and not all of them in to get their hair cut. So that he's got like old church pews as the seats. So you sit in them, but it can end up being, but by 4 o'clock on a Saturday, it's just full of guys, and they're all just chatting, and then he's like that, like beers in the fridge, guys. Do you know what I mean? It's brilliant.
Cool, man. That would be quite nice. You know, you see people like that, and they have I'm going to my barber. I've never had a barber that was like somebody that I'm like, that's my barber. Well, I did have one when I was about 9 years old, and it was in, do you know the Clydebank shopping centre? There was a guy in there. If you walk down the bottom of the Clydebank shopping centre, you've got the two shitey shops. You know, the one with all the stalls? There was a guy in there who cut hair, and he had two big slash marks right down there. He was a nice guy. Me and my brother get taken in there all the time.
You learn how to be a barber in prison then?
Obviously, aye.
Oh, no joke.
But but no. So I've never. But that was the only one. I've never had a barber since.
The way Stuart was a used car salesman. He was a financial advisor. He was a debt collector. But he wanted to get into barbering, and I think he was 30 when he was late 20s. I think he'd come out of a relationship, and he's like, right, I'm just changing my life. So he went to Rotterdam, and he trained at the Showroom barbershop in Rotterdam, which is a world famous barbershop. Guys queue up for like 6 a.m. to get a seat because there's no appointments. So it's just to get in to wait in the queue. And these guys are famous for, they keep the old-fashioned, the old-school haircuts going, like the pompadours and the flat tops and all that, and they do mad stuff with moustaches, and they all wear the white old-school barber shop jackets. So he went and trained with them, and then came back, and he opened up a wee barber shop in his garage. He got his garage all converted, and then eventually he moved into a shop in the local town, and he bought the shop. So he owns it.
That barber shop's like it kind of reminds me of the main setting in a sitcom, if that makes sense.
Aye,
like that.
Well, there was a sitcom called Desmond's, and it was set in a barber shop. Aye, it is the classic, what you would expect the barber shop to be.
Aye,
and then he's got a back room where. And it's the old high ceiling, so he's got a back room with a big door, and then there's a glass panel above the door, and he's got painted onto an old-fashioned writing speakeasy for the back room. And you go in the back room, he's got a fucking big table with chairs round, overhead lighting, speakers and all that.
Brilliant, man.
And then a Saturday, what he does is when he's finished, the doors get locked, the shutters go down, and anybody that's in, they go in the back, and you get a beer,
man.
And they'll spark up and just sit and talk shit.
Brilliant, man.
That's what it's meant to be like, man. A wee community for guys, you know?
A male community.
Aye. And that's what we're trying to do with the Social Media Ruins Everything podcast. Women are obviously welcome, of course they are. But it does...
And non-binary.
And non-binary. As we've seen in the podcast stats, Neil, 3% of listens are non-binary, and everyone's welcome.
There was one time I was wanting to be a barber as well. I think I'd get pissed off with doing work. I thought I could be a good barber.
Aye.
You know, I'd be all right. Just having a shop, mate. I don't know. You need to go every day, though. You couldn't be doing with that, man, turning up every day.
But then if you decide on a career change in the future, all you need to do is transform your workshop into a barber shop.
I know, but then I'd be like, nah, I don't really like the barbering. I think I'm going to go back to this and fucking cutting a guy's hair while making stuff. And
have you ever fitted out a barber shop? No.
No, I don't think so. No.
Something to consider. You could make pieces specifically for. Why don't you make mirrors for barber shops? He's got live edge wood frame mirrors.
I know, but how much? He probably never paid that much for them.
He paid a lot for
them.
How
much? So how much you talking?
I don't know, but I remember him saying they cost him a few bob.
I know, man, but I think to do a mirror, like cheapest mirror out is you need to be like 300 quid plus. So you know what I mean.
I think
that's it.
Do you know what? See
Maybe I'll get into it.
See guys that are wanting to set up. I'm not talking about a wee Turkish barber shop where everybody gets the same.
Well, that's one with a line in it. The one I went into, they must have got a grant. The Turkish, I take the youngest boy.
Laundering money.
Supposedly they were. That's what they say. They were doing that. We went to another barbers, and the guys were saying that they're money launderers, they're immigrants and all that.
There was a Turkish barbers that opened next to the train station down in Lenzie, and they took over an old corner shop. But there's been a barber there for years, absolutely years, and then all of a sudden this other barber shop springs up literally like right next to it, and you're just kind of looking at it and you go, I don't know, man.
I don't know, man.
I think what I've learned about barbershops, just because I used to do the photography for these barbershops, I was in there a couple of days. Who was laughing?
Just one of the comments.
All right, okay. Start it and bring it up in a minute. So I'd be in usually on a Saturday and maybe a day during the week, and just picking up for him. It's not uncommon for a guy setting up an independent barbershop to put good money into it.
Oh, aye.
Because the chairs are fucking expensive. Right? You're talking about $1,000, if not more, for the chairs.
Is that right?
So they'll put money into it, and they'll deliberately try and create an ambience.
Aye.
And
I
think there's a market, Neil, for local made stuff for a barbershop.
Cheap as fuck. I always thought everyone was cheap. There's a few.
How much do you think this beard trim cost?
I don't know.
20 quid.
Right. Is that?
That's expensive.
That's what I'm saying. I'm kind of at an age. I'm at an age now where I'm like, I'm not prepared to pay for certain stuff. You know.
And I wouldn't pay it all the time.
Aye.
But 7 months. The last one I got was free because he messaged me and he says, "Look, the shop's open. Come down and get your beard done and get a wee catch up." But I'm down to today and I gave him a $5 tip. So I know that he makes. I mean, he's bought the building, so there's money in it.
Aye.
And I
always thought it was cheap because I went to a few and it was done up, and I was like, this isn't done up. I've not really been in one that's been done up nice. Even the ones that say, "Oh, we've spent a lot of money," I'm like, this looks kind of shite. But
his place, honestly,
where is it?
It's the real deal. Just down in the town.
Oh, aye.
Down in the town. It's the real deal. He didn't know about this podcast, so I said to him, he's like, "What? He says, when's it on?" I said, "It's on at 7 o'clock tonight." He says, "Oh, I've got my pal coming up." He says, "Send me one of the episodes. It's a good one or what." He says, "I'm into my podcast now."
Good.
So I'll need to send them one. I'll struggle to find a good one, but I'll do my best.
Send them last week's. Send them last week.
Right, what's the comments, Cam? Let's hear them.
This is the one I couldn't hold my laugh back with.
Unprofessional.
two bald guys talking about barbers.
I've actually got here. I'll have you know.
William, what do you fucking think this is? Hair.
And then we had Scott coming in saying, I shaved my beard off recently, and the nursing wouldn't let me pick my daughter up because they didn't recognise.
Wasn't it because they never recognised you? They thought you're a fucking pervert on the loose.
That tells you some, Scott, man. When you've not got the beard, you must look like a fucking pedo.
Rob Simpson says, I took half my mustache off by accident the morning before I had a funeral. Only time I wanted to wear a mask. Scott's coming in again saying, same barber for 15 years. He talks the biggest amount of pish ever. He's been everywhere and done everything, but settles for a back alley in Kirky.
Oh, is that Stevie? Is that Stevie Scott? Oh, fucking hell, man.
He was like a
RAF.
in the Navy, wasn't he?
Oh, was he?
I think he was in the Navy.
Was he?
No, seriously, I think he goes out with a guy I went
Julia
to uni
Roberts.
with, mum.
Say that again?
He went. I think he goes out with a guy I went to uni with, his mum.
Right.
He tells you all these stories where he's been, he's done this and done
he's a
that.
wee
And
guy.
like, when did you do that? Oh, I've been here for the past 15 years. So
Exactly.
it's like, when did you
I'd
fucking do
I'd
this?
say Stevie was late 50s. He's about 5'4", and he's just full of stories, but they're not like good funny stories.
Yeah,
It's
you just
about
made
that
them
time
up.
he was parachuting. Do you know what I mean?
I've never been parachuting. You ever been parachuting?
No.
But see guys like that, right? So I knew a guy. Did I tell you this before? The other guy that I told, and he would show you pictures of famous people that he was next to. Did I tell you that?
No, you've not told us it on the podcast, but you've mentioned it to me before. I'm sure you have.
So he was doing he would show you pictures of who he knew, like a famous person that he was with, and you'd be like, fucking hell, what does he? But he had a normal job, and you'd be like, well, how does he meet all these celebrities and all that? But then we found out that it was photoshopped, and he had photoshopped in, and he never even says like, no, he like, we found out, and it was one of the ones where we knew that he was lying. He kind of knew that we were, but we never says it to each other, you know.
It's like that quote from Soviet Russia. They know that we know that they're lying.
Yes, aye, exactly like that. But there's a lot of shit that's happened like that. The guy with we'll not go into that one because it was maybe probably personal. I don't know what to say in case the guy.
That's when has that ever fucking stopped you?
It's mental how people do that. Well, there's another one that I knew. Like back in the day, and this guy was texting these chat line things. You know the chat lines that you get in the back of the paper.
All right.
So he was texting them. Did I tell you this as well?
No.
And he would say, "Oh, I've got this fucking birthday message, and she's dirty as fucking." I'm like, really? Let's see these messages. And he says, "Have a look at them," and gave me the phone. And I'm going through, and I'm thinking, "Whoa, that's just some dirty messages." But then you know how in the old phones, like the Motorola StarTAC or the Nokia, you could see the phone number.
Aye.
So when you click down the message. And it was like 8003.
Aye.
And I'm like, that's not even a real number.
Premium
That's one
hotline.
of the. It's a premium hotline. He's texting, and we're like,
8,
but it's
9, 8,
it's the same thing. How we all knew and they knew kinda, and we've never wanted to say because we never wanted to embarrass them, but should have fucking embarrassed them.
So that reminds me, Neil, just when you're talking about phone lines. The SMRE hotline.
Call the SMRE hotline 07719 69 0049. Ooh, I said 69.
So the hotline is open. We do have one listener / viewer that has promised that they're going to call. I think they want to speak to you about something. I don't know if you've pissed them off or you've maybe triggered them or something like that. I don't know. We'll only find out when they choose to phone up. I'm just going to check. We're still paired. The device is still paired with the mixer. I got all that set up earlier on. Those of you that aren't subscribers over at patreon.com/SMRE, you missed a treat last week because Howling phoned in. And it was a series of fucking comedy errors.
That was later on.
That was in the
in,
private show,
Okay.
the members only show. So he phoned in, and in my sort of stress to get everything organised in here, I'd forgotten to pair the phone Bluetooth to the mixer. So he phoned in, and eventually I'm sat like this, holding the microphone. Holding the phone next to the mic, and we're trying to decipher what he was saying. Hopefully he phones in again this week, and we'll figure out whether it was just the poor audio quality that made it impossible for us to understand him, or his strong Irish accent.
It was not the audio quality. He must have a cunt of a time phoning up
Oh,
see these numbers when
Amazon or
it's
something.
like, say your postcode, say the pay I try what? It's fucking.
do you know what I was saying to Mary the other night? I need to work on my Southern Irish accent. My Northern Irish accent isn't too bad, but I need to work on my Southern Irish accent I was going to say take the piss out of Howland, but that's not fair because there are quite a few Irish guys that listen and comment regularly. Right, we've got a few articles to go through. There's one you mentioned it last week, but we didn't have it in the correct date for the spreadsheet.
Oh, okay, that was
but
me,
I fixed that this week. So Nicola Sturgeon, Neil, you wanted my thoughts on this. Nicola Sturgeon has been in the news recently. Nicola Sturgeon, study names first minute. Oh no, sorry, Cameron, hold that.
Back to that.
Go back to the main screen because we have a call. Hello, caller. You're live in the show. What's your name? Where'd you come from?
I'm Dermot. I'm from Narnairn.
Who's it? Dermot? It's Dermot. How's it going, Dermot? What's happening?
How's it going, you big ride?
Yeah, big ride. What's happening?
Huh? I can't get you on your mobile, so I thought I'd ring this man here. You bollocks.
You bollocks.
Has he been trying to get a hold of you?
I don't think he's trying to phone me. He phones me like once and then that's it. But if I can't, I'm a busy man. I'm working like fuck, man. You know how it is.
You still making your special chair?
I'm still making the special benches. Still doing them. Yeah. Dermot says they look like something for a special school. He means like a kind of a special needs school kind of thing. Which
really?
Fair enough.
I thought they looked alright.
Aye, they do. He's Irish.
He's just jealous, isn't he?
On,
I didn't say there was anything wrong with him. I just said they reminded me of schools that were made in special needs schools back in the day.
But to be fair, they needed seats as well.
Yeah, you're doing a public service. You're doing a public service.
What's happening over in Ireland? Getting over there, I was going to go over and play golf and all that, but I don't know if it's easy to travel now. Still, is it still mental?
Yeah, you can still come. Yeah.
Good.
You have to give all the paramilitaries money to get through certain places like that.
Do you have your vaccine passport?
I look after you.
That's it, man. That's it. No, I'm going to come over and we might get over before the year's out.
No, I think you said something about November, so.
Maybe. We'll see.
Need to get your van fixed first, Neil.
Need to get the van fixed first. Van broke the day, Dermot. A fucking nightmare.
Oh, no way.
Second time. Same thing. Same fault, I think, but I'll fix it.
How old's the van?
65, 2016.
I thought you were live.
What's that?
He's not live.
Live, aye.
Yeah, we're live, but there's always a wee 15-minute delay between what we put out and then 15 seconds, sorry, between us and YouTube. There's always a wee 15-second delay.
If you get the family in the living room, they're saying, "Put it on, hear me, hear me."
I was just looking. One of your commenters is a guy called Martin Dackers.
Aye.
I worked with a guy in London in 2016 called Martin Dackers.
That's him.
Could be the same guy.
He's a lovely fella, big tall chap, and liked his tattoos. Good joiner.
Aye.
Mad as a fucking hatter.
Might be him.
Right, Martin. Once the live feed catches up on YouTube, do you know Declan? And
that's not Declan. That's Dermot.
Dermot, sorry.
Declan.
Who's Declan?
You heard the accent.
Stereotyped him. It must be Declan. There's Declan on the phone.
Martin Dakers says...
Just reply to me there, Martin. I'm great, and I hope you're well, and I hope your wee girl is doing well too.
Oh, the reply? Here we go. Bringing people together.
I'm sorry you actually know Neil McKinley in this other
It's funny the way he did that. It's almost as if we said to him, so is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to? And tell my wife I love her very. She's sitting next to you, mate. Feel like you're fucking self, you lazy bastard.
Bringing people together. Fucking brilliant. Look at that.
Community driven.
Cilla Black. I always wanted a Cilla Black.
Was this not supposed to be about forming cults?
I think Mark left a cult and I think he's dying to fucking get back and start his own.
I want to start a new one.
Self-employed cult.
Aye, I want to start a new one, mate. I mean, you're welcome to join. Just it's patreon.com/smre.
Baldy bastards. No problem.
Are you another baldy, Dermot?
I am.
Oh, fucking bring it, mate. Bring it.
Embrace the ball.
Love it.
Are you still working now, Dermot? Are you finished?
No, I'm finished. I just got home there.
Nice. You moved? Are you selling the house or what? Nah?
I'm in the process of it. At
There
the
we
minute,
go.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Fucking life's moving on. Life's
I think
moving
you have
on.
to do to buy a fucking CNC. Yeah.
That's it, man. Try and get one.
Yeah.
Everything's
Right, flag in there, but
everything's so expensive, man. 42 quid for a sheet of MDF.
What?
Uh,
Fuck's
yeah.
sake.
It was like 18 quid. When was it 18 quid? It was like 18 quid no even that long ago. And now it's 42.
Before Christmas.
Aye.
I
I'll tell
blame
you,
the Chinese.
China.
plywood, 17 quid before Christmas, 52.50 last week.
It's fucking crazy. Fucking crazy.
That's
Who jinx to blame? Who jinx to blame for that?
Manufacturers, Brexit, pandemic, the whole fucking
thing, just the world.
bandwagon.
I blame the Chinese.
Well, you can blame them. They're usually guilty of most things. So
Trigger warning. Right, Dermot, mate, I appreciate your phoning in,
Good
man.
stuff,
We'll pass
Dermot.
your
I'll speak
message.
to you later on, and that's great that you met a lifelong friend there in the comments. I'm pleased about that.
Aye, we'll pass on the message. You'll be hearing that soon.
Mark's a good lad and damn good joiner, and as I say, mad as a fucking brick.
Brilliant.
That is a prick.
All good. I have to put it in a good way. But good to know you're okay, Lead, and say keep being a big ride.
Right.
And,
Thanks very much, Dermot. And same back to you.
Cheers, Dermot. Nice one, mate.
A
Gotcha.
friend request from your wife the other day.
Oh, you got a friend request? Well, she's looking. She's just. That's it, man. I'm working a
Window
too much.
shopping.
Yeah.
A few photographs of her, Neil, and by Christ, you're punching way above your weight.
It's a true story,
Way
Neil.
above.
It's just
But
cause
anyway, guys,
this.
I'll let you go and let the other guys call in, and I'll talk to you soon.
Right, see
Cheers.
you later,
Nice one,
Dermot.
mate.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.
Good man. Good luck. Bye-bye.
Right.
A friend request. He's kidding me on. He's probably seen that wee thing and
Aye,
says,
it's
she's
that-
fucking trying to be my
Aye,
mate.
aye. That's what I thought as well. I thought that's weird. Gemma's friend requested me.
Aye, it's funny.
Aye, so Martin Dakers, isn't it?
Martin Baker, aye, that's brilliant, man.
Aye.
Imagine that. And they know each other.
Has Martin
Fucking
said
brilliant.
anything in the chat?
He says, does that make me famous?
Aye.
Oh, aye.
Aye, it makes you as famous as we are, Martin.
And then he comes back, says, Dermot's only here for the cult.
Aye. Well, patreon.com/SMR. Neil needs a new van. Right, so we'll jump back to that article quickly, Cam, if that's okay, and then we'll jump into thanking our producers and executive producers. Right, so the article you wanted my opinion on, Neil,
Aye, that was it.
Nicola Sturgeon study names First Minister Britain's most influential woman based on Google searches.
Oh, okay.
So I had a quick scan through it earlier on today, right? And basically, this study has decided that because people are searching for her on Google,
Okay.
she's Britain's most influential woman. And they're saying, scroll down, Cam, there's a particular paragraph that jumped out at me because it's just fucking shite. Keep going. Stop, there we go. It's both positive and encouraging, the article says, to see a variety of women. Oh, there's an advert loading, that's why it's jumped. It's both positive and encouraging to see a variety of women from different professions achieving such high popularity through the amazing work that they do in the community, through the amazing inventions that they've brought to the market, through their scientific breakthroughs, through the common sense and logic that they speak. No, it's encouraging to see them achieving high popularity through Google searches and inspiring the next generation of influential women. So that's quite an interesting...
Is it just any search?
Any search. So that's an interesting bar, a low bar that's been set. How influential is Hitler? Because I bet you he gets more Google searches.
Do you think he gets more Google searches than Nicola Sturgeon?
Not in Scotland, no, but I'm sure globally.
You'd say in Germany?
I think they'd be scared to Google him in Germany because they would get the police at the door. My point is,
Do you think they would?
I think they're a bit funny about it still in
Oh,
Germany.
wow.
They've not really got over it. My point is, right, Nicola Sturgeon was on the telly every single fucking day for about a year. Talking about how she was keeping us safe, how her number one job is to keep us safe. Are you trying to tell me all of those Google searches were positive? How many of those
so,
Google searches were, who the fuck does this cunt Nicola Sturgeon think she is?
I think they were all
could-
positive.
Do you
I
honestly
I
think
think
so?
it was all, what is Nicola Sturgeon's address? Because I want to send her like a bouquet.
A box of flowers.
A hamper.
A bouquet of what?
Flowers. And a hamper.
Aye.
Or maybe they were searching Nicola Sturgeon to see the connections that she's got to the SNP and the paedophile ring that they
True.
Oh, have they got a paedophile ring?
Aye.
Oh, right, nice.
Allegedly. Trigger warning.
Trigger. Aye, true.
There's paedophile rings everywhere, man. Everybody's got one. They're everywhere.
I could make an awful, terrible joke based on what you just said. No.
Do it.
No, I can't. I can't even bring myself to do it. I'll tell you it once we're finished. I thought that just Nicola Sturgeon being voted or being announced the most influential woman in Britain based on Google searches. It's such a ridiculous metric to use.
Maybe
the
it's
number
not.
of times somebody.
Maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's the new thing.
Influential, right? As a cult leader,
Aye.
right? I aim to be influential, right? And the way you do that is you try and influence people to change their behaviour, to go to patreon.com/SMNE and sign up. That's what being influential is. Or, you change the way you dress and other people copy it. Or you make a particular chair that looks like it needs to be in a school for special children and other people copy it. That's being influential. Googling a cunt's name doesn't make them influential. It just means that they're behaving in such a way that folk want to know more about them. It doesn't give you the context of the searches. Was it just Nicola Sturgeon?
But even that, maybe it doesn't matter. But maybe the influential thing is just how many times you pop up. If she wore a Finiston hat, Finiston would sell more hats.
Aye, true. Did you see
Definitely.
the outfit she wore when she done her TED Talk the other week?
No, I never knew she'd done a TED Talk.
She wore a double-breasted white suit coat
Oh, I think I've
and
seen
black
that before.
trousers.
I think I've seen
And
that.
I was trying to think, who does she look like? And it's like, see if
Beetlejuice.
you've ever been in or if you've ever been on a cruise and the compare that comes out to
Aye.
announce the night.
Aye. Well, I don't know. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's just Google searches. That's it. That's
That's a
all you
fucking
need. That's all.
lame
But
metric,
look
man.
at the number one movie on Netflix. Well, it was maybe like a few weeks ago. It was an influencer TikToker. The movie was shite, but
Aye.
they still spent bazillions on it.
Aye. But
Maybe
look
that's it.
But then look at Jesus. Jesus didn't rely on Google searches and he became the most influential Jewish carpenter in the world.
I don't think he was a carpenter. I think that's still the thing everybody's been told. But I think it was his dad.
Aye, but he would have to have worked in the workshop with his dad.
That's the only tie
That was
they
the
have.
tradition.
But I don't think Jesus was traditional. Jesus would have been wearing a Finiston hat,
True.
walking about,
True.
selling them.
Well, there's a story in the Bible that when they were taking him to the cross. No, it's when they were getting ready to use the cat of nine tails on him because they whipped him first, right? And normally they would just go up to the prisoner and they would rip the back of their garments down the middle and then just start whipping them. With Jesus, they took them off,
Right.
and then the soldiers cast lots. They basically cast short straw or whatever as to who was going to get to keep his garments because they were so well made. They'd hidden seams in the stitching. So he was a
For his
baller.
weed?
He was a baller. Well, maybe, but he was definitely a baller. He had
Where is that? Where is his clothes now? Hard Rock Cafe, London. Up in a fucking
a nice
cabinet.
LED backlit cabinet.
Right next to Jim Morrison's leather trousers is Jesus' shawl.
Shawl, cardigan, more like.
Schmock.
Is Durag?
Right, Cam, can you, without bloating it onto the main screen, can you bring up the SMRE Patreon and then just give a wee shout out to the top couple of names there?
So we've got Richard Jackson, Gordon Mason, Martin Dakers, MB Carpentry Limited, Ryan McGibbon, Robert Cassidy, Rob Simpson, Colin Douglas, Brendan Howland, Ray Masterson, and Scott Porterfield.
Thanks very much.
Cheers, guys. Much appreciated. So they're all subscribers over at patreon.com. They get access to the existing members-only videos, Neil. They get access to the private members-only show that goes live after this one. And they get access to the exclusive Cult podcast, which is basically the audio for all of the
It
private
sounds
stuff.
like their names reading them out. It's like, if you know these
you know
men's
these-
whereabouts, stay in your house and inform the police.
Judging by some of the chat that goes on in the private Telegram group chat that we have for Patreon subscribers, I think you might be right.
Is
degenerate.
Telegram's a conspiracy thing?
Aye, a lot of conspiracy stuff.
A lot
and
of drug
sort of-
dealers use it as well.
Aye, it's encrypted.
So my oldest boy told me.
How would he know he's 14,
15.
15?
Aye, that's kids nowadays, man.
True.
They know so much.
They
man.
know their local dealer.
Aye, they know so much. Aye.
Right, we've got another few bits and pieces to bring up on the spreadsheet, Cam. See the Twitter article? This one here. Bring this up, Neil. We were talking about this guy earlier on. Do you want to read that out, Cam? The headline.
Netflix bosses are braced for an employee walkout rally and rally in Los Angeles as anger swells over a recent Dave Chappelle comedy special that activists say is harmful to the transgender community.
What's your thoughts, Neil?
I think it's just it's entertainment. It's fake entertainment. It's bullshit entertainment. It's just to tell people get annoyed about something. I don't even think the people moaning about it give a fuck. I think it's fake.
Or what about this? Watch it.
Watch it.
Subtly telling people to watch
That's
it.
what's happening. That's an advert.
It's
you
all
said you were
marketing,
having a
man.
rant during the week. Everything's an advert.
Aye.
That's an advert.
It's all adverts. It's like, because nobody's watching fucking telly. Netflix have spent, how much did Dave Chappelle get? Like 150 million or whatever the fuck it, or
There wasn't as much
50
as
million,
that.
80 million,
It was
whatever.
40 million for these specials.
So they need people to watch it. Oh, I'm going to watch that. It's like, but when people watch it, I think any normal person, when I say normal, I mean just normal, a normal person.
Like us.
Aye, they would watch it and say, oh, he made some good points, and aye, that's exactly right. He's laughed at himself, he's laughed at everybody, so why?
Yep.
How can we cancel somebody who's laughed at everybody?
It's also his last comedy special for Netflix. So Netflix will be wanting to wring every last
aye.
cent out of that.
Wonder what he'll do. He's probably just out of here, man.
Aye. He walked away for 50 million that he was offered for doing the Chappelle show.
Aye.
Do you know why he walked away? Have you ever heard the story?
Well, I thought it was because he was due 500, and he says they'll take 50.
No, that's how we roll. That's now here.
No, but I thought that was how what it was. No?
Well, that's not what he said. He
Right.
said it was on that Dave Letterman, My Next Guest is, which is another Netflix thing. He said on that he was doing a sketch where he was doing a caricature of a black stereotype, and he noticed one of the crew members laughing, but the impression he got was he wasn't laughing at the joke, he was
Alright.
laughing at him as the negative stereotype of a black person, and it just made him think, I'm playing up to Whitey. And do you know what? I've watched these specials on Netflix, and I watched the most recent one. I think it was last Thursday night. And what I noticed that I had to keep doing was pausing it, which I've never done during, unless it was to rewind to watch a wee bit again. I kept pausing it to digest what he'd said, because it isn't just a guy standing telling jokes.
No, it's just conversational, but it's just when he goes into it and then he's opening up and then he's going and going and going. I know what you're saying. When I was watching it and you have the people sitting right in the middle, the two big
Two big white women.
what would you call them? SJWs, whatever it is. Is that still a thing? Are they still?
Aye.
So you have these two sitting there, and as soon as I seen it, I'm like, they're no buying a ticket for this. And see if they're buying it. They're right in the middle of the whole shot.
I noticed them right away as he came on stage, because there was a panning shot behind him as he came on stage, and you could see them because they really stood out. One of them had like the kind of bluey green hair. The other one had like streaked colours in her hair, and she was extremely overweight, extremely obese. And as soon as I saw them, and I thought, oh, that's interesting there. But they were applauding and all that when he came out and cheering.
They were laughing and
But
joking.
when he was doing his stuff later on, they were sat fucking stony-faced.
And obviously when they sat stony-faced, the shot was for behind him, seeing him and then the people. It's like, you've edited it up
That's
to
deliberate.
get that shot. Well, it's said, I don't even know if the people dress like that anymore. I don't think dyed hair's a big thing anymore. I think it died out. But I think it is a...
What I noticed about Dave Chappelle is, I think on some level in his psyche, he genuinely dislikes white people, categorically.
Aye.
And I know he's friends with white people,
Aye.
like Rogan and Jerry Seinfeld and all that sort of stuff.
Aye.
But I think he has and it's maybe dislikes too strong, maybe a distrust.
Aye.
And I think if he felt the way he did when he was recording the Chappelle show, where he's like, no, wait, they're laughing at the stereotype, they're not laughing at my jokes about the stereotype. I can understand why he walked away, doesn't he? What he and he makes a really good point in the special where he's talking about like the he calls them the alphabet community, the LGBTQ, whatever it is. And he talks about them not making a stand for things and not getting off the bus and all the rest of it. And he talked about how he chose to get off the bus. And that's what made me go and look into why did he leave the 50, because he says that I left the 50 million back on the bus and I got off the bus.
Aye.
So he felt he was making a stand, and I think his argument is with the folk that are trying to get him cancelled is you don't actually make a stand for anything. All you do is you're outraged about stuff.
Shocked and outraged. I don't know if he doesn't like white people. I can't.
No, I that's why I think he's got maybe a distrust.
Oh, right, okay, aye, okay.
Distrust, and if he does, fucking fair enough. Because
So
we don't know his journey. Exactly.
I have a distrust in white people.
I've never had a black guy do anything bad to me, but I've had plenty of white people that have done.
Aye.
You know what I mean? But that's that's the content, their character, rather than the colour of their skin.
You've had people do bad things too.
Exactly.
People.
Exactly.
We're all God's children, Cam.
But I think the outrage, and there's no doubt that Netflix are using it to market it, because folk will go, wonder what the
I
fuck
think
did
it
they
is
say?
all. I think everybody knows it's
Partly
marketing now.
that's why I was keen to watch it, like, because I know in his last one he made some jokes about the LGBT community in a car, and it was quite funny and it was on point. But I was like,
well, see
a
that
couple of
joke.
times.
Have you seen the thing with Owen Benjamin?
No.
When he says he done that joke way before Chappelle done it, and Chappelle's took it, and there is videos of Owen Benjamin doing the joke. Similar, but I don't know if it's.
He
I mean,
cancelled those. He doesn't count.
I liked Owen Benjamin, but he pure went off the deep end, man. Like he
Think
went
he's
on all,
nuts?
I think he is a bit fucking nuts.
well, I mean, this is because I never knew who he was, and I wasn't really caring whoever done the joke first. You know what I mean? Who cares? But he's cancelled though. I don't think he does.
No, he's cancelled
Because he had an intervention and all that. He was a funny comedian. He was really funny. He was good, but now
his music sets and all that, his songs
he's
he was doing.
super
all that.
Jesus now, isn't he?
It was interesting though, because I remember because he ended up just kind of walking away from from all the Los Angeles kind of comedy group setting or whatever.
Aye.
And he was basically just like, they're all like soul sucking, blah blah blah. But he like prop went off the deep end with all the conspiracy theory stuff, and just ended up being a wee bit, even a wee bit too nuts for me. And I was just kind of
They must be bad.
What'd you do with somebody who goes that crazy into the conspiracy stuff? And I'm not talking about our mate Andy. I'm not talking about in case he listens to us. He's
fine.
I mean, what about people who go way like the people? I mean, I'd say storming the Capitol thing, but that was kind of a set up thing as well, was it? No, but I mean, like people who are that fucking far. What would you do? What would you do with them?
What would you do with them?
How would you speak to them? I've got a mate, right? And he's prepared to kill somebody who's going to come to his door to try and talk to him about the jab. He's cool. He's been talking like you, and after he told me, and he's an older guy. After he told me, I was thinking, I don't know if that's healthy.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
I think
Preparing yourself to kill somebody.
I honestly don't know how you speak to them. It's another, what he's describing is another example of a cult mindset where you believe something so much that it completely changes how you behave and how you're prepared to behave.
I see like that thing with Owen Benjamin, that just to like, because it wasn't a case of like he'd gone off the deep end. He'd gone off the deep end, but he was nasty about it. Does that make sense?
Totally.
It wasn't like I go off the deep end as much as you like, but when you're nasty about it and kind of like a wee bit, I don't know, man. You could just see something in his eyes, and you're like, fuck that, man.
Aye. I know what you mean, but that's it. But it's like how you met. This is what I've felt for the full thing. See, since the lockdowns, like whatever side people went, some people just went fucking so far in every. So you have the people who are legit nuts walking about with fucking spacesuits on, and then you have the people who are going the opposite way, that are fucking into talking about Bill Gates is going to shoot the sun out and that, and they get right in. It's like, and ready to kill people coming to their door saying, "Would you mind taking the thing, mate?" But I don't know how you'd speak to them. I was just like, all right. I said, I don't know if it'll come to that. I think we'll be all right. And then he's like, no, they're doing it in these countries. And I'm like, well, but then I googled it myself and found out, no, they're not actually doing that.
No,
it's just
not
like
happening. That's not happening anywhere
it's
yet.
Here we go. Mark's got a spear. He's ready to kill people coming to the door. Aye. No, but that's, so I don't know how you can't talk to them. I just thought that sounds very fucking crazy.
It does. You keep talking on that now, Neil, because I want to check the SMRE podcast.
Oh, okay, I'll keep talking.
Instagram.
But it's a case of like just everyone scatters and they try and find somewhere where they feel at home. But in reality, you create your own echo chamber a wee bit.
Well, that's it, especially now, because everybody's searching for this group. Everybody wants to be a part of a group. Nobody's cool just taking it easy.
Aye.
See, because of the holiday thing, nobody's been going away on holiday anywhere.
Yep.
So everybody's like coming up here, up to where I live and all that. And it's fucking crazy. And I'm like, are people not cool just taking it easy in their house? But maybe they've been in for so long, you need to get away. I get that. But it's like people need people need to tell people, oh, we need to get away. I'm like, do you really need to get away, or are you just doing it because you want to fucking get away? Because your mates think you're sitting in the house all the time. It's just, I don't know. I just don't know. I can take it easy in my house, totally fine. If I'm going away for like 2 days, that would do me.
It depends where you live, though. If you live in the middle of a city, and it's in the middle of
I'm just privileged.
We'll just casually remind you of the view you get from your living room windows. It's literally where people would choose to go on holiday.
I get it, but it seems
but everybody needs a change of scenery.
Everybody needs a change of scenery. Aye, that's it.
Right. Because obviously we're not time constrained, but we just need to be aware of time. And we're just over an hour in already as my water bottle falls. We've got 3 questions that we've received. So obviously there's a number of different ways you can get in touch with us. smre.co.uk, the website, has got a get in touch page, and you can get in touch with us that way. Folk don't bother with that, Neil. They're not interested in going to websites. It's 2021. You can obviously phone the hotline, as Dermot did earlier on. But you can get in touch with us on Instagram at SMRE Podcast. So I put a story up, as I've been doing on Wednesdays, just to get people to send in their questions, their queries and their conundrums. And we've got 3 tonight, Neil. So we'll go through them if that's okay. The first one is from good friend of the show, Green Grapes Glasgow. He actually sent us some wonderful comments and compliments after last week's show.
Very nice.
Which was very nice. So his conundrum, I think you would call it, because it's not a question or a query. He says, as fellow perfectionists.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if I call myself a perfectionist, but I get it. I'll kid on, I'm a perfectionist. No, I'd say you're a perfectionist, but I don't know if I care that much.
As fellow perfectionist. When is the right time to let something go and say it's done?
Oh, interesting.
That's a really good conundrum.
What was it, like in any sort of context? When
doesn't give a context. You see, if you're so you could be a perfectionist, barber, baker, candlestick maker, podcaster, cult leader. You want to be the leader of Scotland or the leader of the New World Order. So,
I mean, that would be my life's work. I don't think it would be finished. But it's so let's say, well, if I say I was making a thing. And then when's the right time to let... I don't know if I buy into all that stuff. I think he might be on Instagram too much. Just maybe come off Instagram and then you'll understand that, fuck it, doesn't matter. Are you happy with it? There you go.
Aye. I think...
But that's only if he's making something. He might not be making anything.
No, he's absolutely... Could just be the way you approach life.
You're talking about his wife?
Could be his wife. Don't know. I don't want to get overly personal because he seems like a nice guy. I would address the word perfectionist and I would immediately say, what do you mean by perfectionist? Well, that's somebody that wants things to be perfect. What do you mean by perfect? I would just annoy him by asking all these extra questions. Well, when it's good, when it looks really good, what do you mean good?
There was one guy, I was at a business mentor thing once for a while. I went to see him, which, I don't know, I think I wanted to run a business at one point. And he was... and
you did.
I did, and he says, life is not perfect, it's a compromise. And I was like, all right, I never really understood what he meant. I don't know what he still means, but the whole perfectionist thing's weird. It's like, this is what I mean. See, as I do more work just for myself and just tell people, no, I'm not doing that for you. And I just make my own stuff. You end up making stuff and you think, oh no, I'm happy with that. And then that's it. Right? Because see, if you're making something for somebody else, they have an expectation and then you have an expectation and none of them ever work out the same. You kind of can get it near enough.
Aye.
But, I don't know. I think just as long as you're happy, man.
I think that's it.
As long as you're happy.
I think you should.
I'm going to use that as a quote actually for my Instagram.
There you go. So that's part of your marketing. Put that up as your first quote. I think as long as you realise, Green Grapes Glasgow, that there's no such thing as perfection. Doesn't exist. You can only have something that either looks right to you or looks right to the person. If you're making something that it's made for, there's no such thing as perfection.
There was one guy who was perfect and they crucified him.
Exactly. Where did that get him? He was a joiner as well. It didn't work out for him. And when is it time to say it's done? It's done when it's done. I think if you can look at the piece of work, whether it's something you've made, whether it's something you've written, whatever it may be, painted, if you can look at it and say, I've done my best, it's as good as it can be, then it's time to say it's done.
See, when I was at school in RE and you had to write your headstone thing. Right, you had to write like a headstone thing. This is why
Never heard of that.
This is why I think of fucking death stuff all the time and that. But
Fuck's
so we
sake.
were in RE, and the girl sitting next to me wrote her name. I know her name, but honestly, she wrote her name and then says she done her best. And I was like, my like 14, 15-year-old head was like, okay, that sounds fucking shite. Are you depressed? What the fuck? And I get, but now it's saying she only done her best. That's good enough.
Honestly,
That's all you can do.
that's all you can
As
do.
long as you've got your health, you can just do your best. That's
As
you.
long as you get your health and never doubt your greatness.
Chase excellence.
Right, we've got a question from, once again, Simpson Property Maintenance, Rob Simpson, who's in the chat tonight. What's the weirdest work request you've ever had? Do you want us to kick that one off, Neil?
Weirdest work request. Maybe a secret drawer. When you open up one drawer, a bedside table, there's another drawer that you need to get to, and it holds sex toys, dildos, the like.
And
Plugs.
You had to make that?
Just magnets and different runners. Make a wee inconspicuous one that the wife wanted.
Is that at your side of the bed or Gemma's side of the bed?
The wife who was getting it done never wanted the husband to know either, which is
Wow,
interesting.
That is interesting.
She
She's
says,
got a wee sideline hobby, hasn't she?
well, she likes her power tools, but it's interesting. It's like, but that's that. What's your one then? Your work?
The weirdest work request I've ever had. I honestly can't think of a weird one. I've had annoying ones.
I've
annoying ones
where
where I had a client who I'd shot a bunch of videos for, and they would ask for literally fractions of a second to be trimmed.
Oh, aye.
Do you know what I mean? Just
I do stuff like that with design people that I'll deal with.
aye, that's annoying.
And I'll be like, Jink, you could just.
So maybe that
do
is
this.
weird because it shows the person asking that. Like, it's like obviously the stock response should be fuck off and get a life.
Aye.
But
say you had. So say this is the way I go on to people, and I'll say, right, I know I'm going to sound like really annoying to you here. And I'm being a bit of a dick, and none of this really matters. Life doesn't matter. But if could we change this wee tiny bit? Would you be offended? If you would be offended, just leave it. But if no, and you want to do it, I'd like that done.
that's quite a nice way of putting it.
Aye, so that's the way I do it.
That
so
shocks
that's
me, but
that's the way I do it. Aye,
that's quite decent.
Aye.
No, I can't think of anything weird I've been asked to do work-wise. I genuinely can't. I mean, I saw this, my mind was blank when I saw it an hour or so ago, and it's still blank now.
There is a lot of guys I know with a lot of weird work request stuff, but it doesn't happen to me a lot, man. It doesn't happen to me a lot. Now and again.
Sorry, Cam.
The weirdest thing that I've ever had to do for work was when I worked at McDonald's, and someone would ask for a what was it called? Brilliant. That fish thing in
Filet-O-fish.
Aye, that was always the weirdest because you'd never ever have one ready. And then all of a sudden, someone would come
it's
through the
weird,
drive.
man,
That's a rank thing.
It's a weird thing to buy. Like there was this old guy who we knew, and I think he could have been a paedophile, maybe tampered with somebody that we knew, but he took us away for the weekend. We were in a sports thing, and we went away, and he was the chaperone, right? And we went to McDonald's, and this guy was old. Actually, I think he did tamper with one of the people, and we kind of know that we all know that he get tampered with. But anyway, he went. And he does.
Trigger warning.
And he went into McDonald's, and we were like young, and we knew what we were getting. He was like, "Can I have some fish and chips, please?" He was a really eccentric guy. "Can I have some fish and chips? I don't know what's in here. You know, the usual. It tastes like cardboard kind of thing." It was just weird. The fish and chips. People asking for fish and chips at McDonald's are suspect anyway. You know, it's weird.
Right, and the final one we've got is from Leo Baru, and he asks, what's the mission statement of the SMRE cult and why should I join? I don't know if we've really thought through the mission statement, have we, Neil?
No. Pull up one for like the Latter-day Saints or some shit, and we'll fucking just change the name.
No, I mean, because it's not...
You need to write a manifesto.
We
like
should...
an actual 200-page manifesto.
Fuck, that's too much of the hard work. They're only paying £4 a month plus VAT.
Model it after Ted Kaczynski's manifesto.
The mission statement SMRE. So if we just look at SMRE in its singular form, which is a podcast that goes out live on a Wednesday, and the audio goes out on a Friday or whatever. The mission statement of that is, can you bring the website up, please, Cam? and I'll just read directly from the website. It's on the homepage. A podcast from two Scottish guys who really don't care if they're understood. Life's too short. So I think that's kind of the mission statement, right? So if you feel Leo Barrow, and I know who you are,
I know
if
you're
you
da.
feel you can, I do know he's that, and I know him. If you feel you can resonate with that, where life's too short, you don't care if you're understood, then the SMRE cult is for you. As for why you should join, I think the standalone benefits of all of the wonderful exclusive content available over at patreon.com/SMRE speaks for itself.
I asked myself that same question, man. He's asking why
Would people join?
That's what I ask myself all the time.
Let's throw it out to the chat that are watching tonight. Why did you guys that joined over at Patreon join? And we'll see what they come back with. Keep your eye on that.
See, I don't like that interactive feedback thing. How see when people ask for feedback, I never ask for feedback. I don't give a fuck about feedback. I'm like, I'd rather you never say anything.
I never asked for feedback.
You never asked for feedback.
I said, why did you guys join?
Oh, okay.
You said to me, I don't know why they would join.
No,
so
I just
I'm like,
ask
well, let's
myself
find out.
sometimes because I was going to recently
Like that
sign up
podcast
to
you were
somebody.
talking about.
Aye, and I've still not done it because I'm like, nah, I just don't know.
Just do it for a month.
But it's a $5, but I'm just like,
Off,
nah,
it's
I'm
a
not
fucking
signing up.
$5.
I know.
It's a $5.
So that's how I look at the world around me, and I see all these people signing up. Oh, I get their podcast, I get their one, and I chip them some money, and I do this, and I'm like, wow, this is a really different world than I'm living in, man.
There's so much free content out there. Right?
So much.
So why would you pay for anything? And that's been the question as long as folk have been able to download and BitTorrent stuff on the internet. There's so much stuff available for free. Why would you pay for anything? Why would you pay for anything? And I don't want to over question folk that have decided to sign up at Patreon. I'm genuinely grateful that they have.
And that's it. That's what it is. Just leave it at that. They have their reasons.
And they have their reasons. And I know one or two folk who have said, no, we want to support you guys. Like, we really enjoy the free stuff.
Aye.
And then, we apart from, we will do one tonight actually, but, the past, tonight will be the fourth week in a row where we'll have done another hour and a half to 2 hours after this. Yeah. Plus there's the ones that we recorded before, plus there's the behind the scenes stuff. So it's not like we're just trying to scam folk. And
you're actually saying, and
we have interactions.
Maybe
with
I've
them.
just no found a thing that I thought I want to support them. You know what I mean?
So if you were a co-host, would you not join this call?
Oh, I'd join this one definitely.
That's all people.
I would
need to
sign
know.
up to the top tier.
Top tier? Fuck me, wow.
It's no, maybe I've just not found anybody that I think, I'm going to support them. But I mean, I see during the lockdown, I would buy stuff off guys. See that make stuff, and I'd give them a wee bit extra. No loads extra, but a tiny wee bit extra. And that maybe that's the same thing.
There's YouTube channels where they've got that join thing, the join button. And it doesn't actually get you anything. You don't get extra content. You don't get access to another website.
Right, okay.
But it's just it's basically it's like a tip. It's going to go.
I get it.
It's just man, your stuff's good.
Just a crazy world that we live in. That this is a thing that's out. It's the whole advertising thing, though. You go on. I think I says that. You fucking 6 ads.
Yep.
6 ads in a video.
And then they've got their sponsor.
Aye. It's fucking mental.
People are trying to make money, Neil.
I know there's. I get it, man.
You've got a vanity fix.
I've got a vanity fix. Come on.
So if you want to send us a tip,
I've got moved to feed.
buymeacoffee.com/SMRE.
We've got some comments through.
Right, okay.
About why Howlin has joined us.
Welcome, Howlin.
In relation to what you were saying about the van there, Howlin says, all I know is that you shouldn't be leaving your van outside Mark's place. He'll sell it to buy new podcast stuff.
Howlin, it's not working. I wouldn't get much for it. Have you any idea how expensive the mics Neil and I want are? 2 of those mics is probably worth more than what Neil's van currently is in its broken down state.
Howlin says the reason he joined up was
okay, this will be good.
Signed up for extra time to take the piss.
And believe me, he gets his money's worth.
Scott says you should join the cult because Mark sends weekly pictures of his face. And Neil sends single more Facebook quotes to us all in Instagram chat and the Telegram chat.
Yep.
Rob Simpson says, I felt sympathy for you both, like the old homeless fella with the scruffy dog begging for change.
That's it, man.
And then Howland just noticed that.
Get my picture up,
I know that Howland just said it's brilliant. That
Imagine they all did it.
Rob's did.
It's just this on my face.
Rob says he's gonna hunt down a photo for Howling next week.
We need a photo of Howling, man, because everywhere he just uses the
There'll be
blank
one
avatar.
out there. There'll be one out in the internet somewhere.
think
There will be a picture of him that you will
Do
find.
you know what I've not done? I've not googled the name Brendan Howling.
Well, no,
Cam,
I
do it now.
googled the name and it was the politician guy.
Oh,
but,
that's right. We
you
spoke
know,
about
'cause
that.
I-
Aye, that's disappointing.
But no, you'll be a picture of him out there for Bebo or fucking somewhere.
Bebo, remember Bebo?
Aye.
Aye, bin it, Cam, bin it.
Aye, it's just
not-
funny.
it's
It's
not
like this is
fucking
what I think. This is the way the world is, though. This is it, and I have a hard time working out the world. Do you know what I mean? You look at it, and this is the way it is. So
What
this
did
is
Andy
it.
Watson say? You get your wee circle, Neil, you put the things in it that matter.
See, this is it.
And ignore
That's
everything else.
That's exactly it. And see if you take time off Instagram and all that, and then you think, wow, man, it's actually quite nice.
Aye.
No being on
Yeah.
in a social and just scrolling, fucking scrolling.
Yeah.
Oh, what's this? Fucking same bullshit, same fucking shit, constant, just scrolling.
So we're on the subject of Howling and his interactions with us. He sent me a message on Instagram with a link to a video that I think sums up the fucking problem with social media and how it does ruin everything. Excuse me, Cam. It's up. It might be up there, or you might need to go into the spreadsheet to get it because it's an Instagram video. And I have put a note next to it saying Howling sent it, and it might be the top one.
Yep, got it here.
Got it.
Oh.
So if you jump on, if you bring that up on the screen, hopefully the audio works as well. You need to click the. Here we go. It's just
Oh
a
my
video
goodness, and he's
of
huge.
a fucking massive boar,
Wildebeest.
a wild boar.
Hello, boy.
Hello,
Wonder
boy.
if we can pet him.
I wonder if we can pet him.
Hi, boy.
This has turned into the Joe Rogan podcast.
Oh, fucking shit myself. We are fucking
Oh
jumped
my
there.
God.
Fucking.
Help me!
Check
Help!
this out. What-
Fucking
Look at
idiot.
the size of the fucking tusks
up
and the
steps.
fucking bastard.
These
He's
are
trying. I
killers.
wonder if we can pet it.
I wonder if we could pet that thing. Will knock you over and it will eat you raw and
Look at the size of
alive.
it, man. I wouldn't even
There's a
pet
reason they're
fucking,
hunted.
I wouldn't pet a wild Alsatian if I was in like Greece or
Would
Spain.
you pet a wild pig? No, because it would fucking bowl you over. That thing's got tusks.
That's fucking wild, man.
Oh, look at it coming. Let's.
But that's what we
Fucking
do.
hell.
We think like animals are
I'll
like
get that
that.
for the gram.
That's how people shag animals as well, because they think, oh, I saw this really nice wee Disney fucking thing. Ends up fucking getting a wee pig and shagging it.
Aye, that's just. It's just that.
It gave me a fright as
Oh,
well.
you got a fright as well?
Aye.
Were you not
I
expecting
gotta
it?
jump.
No.
No, I
As
wasn't
soon as I
expecting
saw it,
that.
I was expecting it because it's a wild boar. They're hunted because they're deadly.
There used to be a place up in Inverary, and it was the Argyll Wildlife Park. Right? Do you remember that? No. Did you ever go in and out in there back in the 80s or 90s?
One of the first times I came to Argyll was about 2016.
It'd have been shut. It would have been closed down
Right.
then. But what you went in.
You corrected me as to how I spelt it on Instagram or Facebook. I spelt Argyll wrong,
Oh,
and
aye.
you sent me a mention. It's actually spelled wrong.
Well, I know, because I remember you say something like, "Oh, when you get to the top, you take a left rather than going that way." And I was like, "There is no left or right there. It's no a junction, you know. It's just you just continue on." But anyway, no, there was this. You go in, and then they would give you a wee bag of feed, and you'd walk about. There was wild boar in there. There was there was no there was like wee fences. Nobody gave a fuck. Just walk about feeding all these animals and that. That was the exciting stuff we done.
That sounds like that exotic Joe guy.
It was the
Tiger
Argyll
something.
version of that.
Fuck me, man.
Aye, a weak Argyll version of that.
What else we got is up there, Cam? We've got the OnlyFans granny.
This was a mental story, man. I like this wee documentary thing.
I need to change the screen, Cam.
No. Oh, never. I hope someone will volunteer to come and
Jeez,
fuck
oh.
me. I had
Jeez,
no
oh.
clue
Fuck's sake.
that my
Jeez, oh.
OnlyFans would actually take off.
Some chassis
I
on
really
her.
wanted to see
Aye,
a true
gilf.
gilf. Older sex is better sex, and it's
I
because
don't know if
we
I'd
know
agree
what
with
Is
that.
she a prosy as well?
What?
Oh, she must be.
She's on OnlyFans. She's
My
getting
brain
fucked.
just
You're not
puked.
trying to dictate to me what I can do, what I can't do, what I should do. You were
Camera's
born
shite.
sexual, you will die sexual.
You're born sexual,
had
you'll
informed
die
my
sexual.
cardiologist.
That's interesting.
I can't die yet.
Look at that
Not
money
yet.
she's made, man.
$251,000 on
Yes.
OnlyFans.
Yes.
Fucking
Tell
hell.
who's fucking
Neil, how'd you
paying-
sign up?
Who's paying for it to watch an old woman getting pumped? Look,
So many
it's
people
Oh,
fucking
like
fucking
it.
hell, man.
It's
Someone
fucking.
your age.
It's fucking disgusting. I mean, I get it. Good for her. I think it's fucking brilliant.
The consolation is at least she's got meat in her bones. Imagine if she was one of the skinny grannies, man. Fucking hell. Heavy
A cheese
smoker.
toasty, open up a cheese toasty. It's
Fucking hell.
she's made an awful lot of money.
That's that. Well,
Right,
I
but
think
see, the
we're
thing
doing
is-
it wrong, Neil.
No, but I mean, she's made a lot of money, right? See, since Gemma come back on Instagram and stuff, and she would never really bother, but she's looking at stuff. And we were talking about somebody, and I says, I think they've got an OnlyFans, like somebody we kind of know through somebody else. And then she says, really, she says, honestly, see if I needed money or that, I'd honestly think about that and do that. And I was thinking, see the amount of people that think of OnlyFans is, I mean, Gemma's not on OnlyFans, she's not going to do
I
it.
know
but-
somebody that was doing it, and they spoke to me about like how is it easy
Brilliant.
enough to say, and I'm like, I don't know how to set it up and that. I says,
Brilliant.
but you know it'll get dark quick.
Aye.
And she's like, oh no, it'll be
Do you
fine.
think it gets dark quick?
I'm trying to remember if she went ahead with it. I think she did go ahead with it, and it did get dark quick.
Brilliant.
And it's whether you've got the stomach to take that and take the rough with the smooth, so
Just
to speak.
guys messaging you and that. But the thing, it's like, look how much money that old woman made.
Aye.
But see, the thing is, so many people live in the poverty, right? And she's doing that. She's making money. People still will give her shit
Fair
for
enough,
that.
man. Fair enough.
I think it's fucking brilliant that she just says, like, you know, she's made fucking millions of dough. I don't know, man.
What would her life be like
Well, I mean,
if
do you think anybody
OnlyFans
knows?
didn't exist?
Exactly, but do you think anybody knows though?
Well,
Do you
she's
think, like,
fucking made that documentary.
no, I mean, like in her wee surrounding
she
area.
just made that documentary.
In her
It's
wee-
on YouTube.
I know, but I don't think many people will look at stuff like
Do you
that.
think folk in Loch Goylehead know what you do?
No, I don't think they do. They don't know what I'm up to.
But
Nah.
you said you cut about with shades on through the streets and all that.
I just got
On your roller
sensitive eyes. It's sashaying with gay abandon. No, it's
Do you have sensitive eyes?
I've got sensitive eyes, and it's because I get emotional when I go a walk and I have a smoke, and I don't want to cry.
Right, so
I don't want to walk through the village and people saying, "What's he been doing?"
So you get red eye when you're blazing.
No. I just get. I can think about the boys on it, and then I end up just getting emotional.
Really?
Aye,
I
I'm
thought that was a
fucking gay as
joke.
fuck. No, it's not a fucking joke. Why would I fucking laugh
Trigger
about that?
warning. He said gay as fuck.
No,
Trigger
it's aye. So that's how I wear the sunglasses. Go
Are you
through.
serious?
I am fucking
Because you have
serious.
a bubble when you're walking through the
I
village.
can get I'm in touch with my emotions. So I can get.
Why do we never see that on
Well,
the
look
podcast?
look at all the
What is
stuff
this
that
facsimile yourself you're presenting to us?
Oh no, I don't. I would never do anything like that live on the internet because you turn into a fucking weirdo
But
straight away.
what if 100 folks said they would sign up to Patreon tonight if you had a bubble on camera?
Nah, fucking no. It's just weird. It's if you go out a walk and you're in the nature. I'm right out there and I'm walking the dogs, and then I think
You're filling up the now.
No, I'm not filling up. It's just, and then you think about stuff, and then you can do it. Aye,
Come zoom in.
Enhance.
That's interesting. I thought that was a
no,
joke.
it wasn't a joke.
But you've
I'm
got
not-
the sensitive eye thing as well.
Nah, it's just It's kind of I think it's just my age. Things are bright. Everything's bright. I wear sunglasses now because it's just so bright outside.
What are the glasses you've sometimes got on your forehead in your videos? The clear glasses?
just
Are they just
thingy
safety
glasses.
glasses?
Aye, just
I thought
safety
they were
glasses.
like kind of.
No, I don't need any glasses like
Right,
that.
okay. You don't get contact lenses, no?
No, you don't need anything like that. No, I don't need glasses to
All right,
see.
okay, that's good.
It's only protection.
I only wear these for using the computer and stuff like that.
Oh,
If
right, aye.
folks saw me out in the street, I wouldn't be wearing
Aye.
these and they wouldn't recognise
No,
me.
it's just I'm in touch with my feminine
big
side. I
bag.
don't mind it at all. I can talk, like I told you before, I can talk to women really comfortably, like a group of women, and really get. Most of the stuff I make is of a feminine nature as well.
So you
more-
feel your feminine side comes out in the stuff you make, and I'm not being
Oh
a
no,
bam,
no! I
aye.
think like all this stuff. Most of my stuff, you look at it, it's kind of feminine. It's
Aye.
not like manly stuff.
Because the
you know?
mirrors you make look like a vagina.
A lot of the stuff's vaginal, vaginal. Vaginal.
I'm going to see my auntie vaginal. She's up in the hospital.
No, it's just.
What, do you want lino or do you want vaginal?
Aye, it's just. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's actually quite a nice thing. But no, it's
No,
just,
I'm not
It's
criticising
like
you.
it's a more a grateful thing. You know,
Aye.
you know when you get that way. Aye.
I mean, aye. I mean, the gratitude thing's important, isn't it? It's an important facet to have of your personality.
I have it quite a lot. I don't know. Sometimes I'm living in a different world. I think. Oh man, I'm walking about and I'm thinking. I'll like look at stuff and just think this is beautiful. This is fucking beautiful. You know what I mean? And it's no right. It's weird. This is beautiful.
But what's interesting, and I can share this with folk if you don't mind, Neil. Well, you're not going to have any choice because I'm going to share it anyway, and you don't control the mute buttons. When Neil arrived, he came struggling up the stairs in the close. You probably didn't struggle because you're probably quite a strong guy, but you're lifting your chair
Aye.
up, and you came in and went, the van's just broken down. Now, most folk would be a bit stressed about it, but he wasn't stressed. He wasn't stressed. He made a phone call to his missus. He phoned or he texted the mechanic guy who's going to come out and pick it up and all that kind of stuff. And that's quite an, because I think most folk would have been, oh, for fuck's sake, I'm up to high do it. Don't even get me started, Mark. I need to go up the road. I don't know how I'm going to get there, but somebody's going to need to come and get me. They've been fucking freaking out.
I know. People freak out, but that's what I'm saying. I think that's the test.
Doesn't help you, but does it?
No, it doesn't. I think that's the test. I think they put it in front of you and say, how you go. I think it's like, when I say they, I mean the universe, whoever. And then they say, oh, you think this is all fucking woohoo, it's all a game. I'm going to put this in front of you, see how you deal with it. So it's just how you deal with it. You know what I mean? Obviously, it's easier if you can afford the guy to come and pick up the van and you have another car and somebody willing to drive and get you. That's easy as well.
Can you?
I'm totally fine with all that. So it's fine, but there's been type. I remember one time when I bought a shitey car, 300 quid, and I was on, you know, the A77, M77. And people driving by as the boys are in the car. It was years ago. So 2 boys, 1 boy, maybe 2, whatever. And people
your kids?
Aye, my kids.
Or was it just random kids?
Just ones that I picked up. And people like, oh, look, pointing down because the exhaust was running along the car in the spot. So I had to pull into the side and I'm fucking kicking the exhaust off because I had no fucking tools. Had to rip the exhaust off so I could drive, and it was stressful as fuck. Nowadays, I wouldn't give a fuck about that stuff, you know.
Because it's only a car, it's only a van. It's not, like you say, the stuff that actually matters. And, you know, there we go. That's, to go back to Leo Barrow's point, what's the mission statement, SMR, and why you should join? It's gems of wisdom like this. From the man from the wilderness,
take it
Scottish
easy
wilderness.
But I honestly think it's a thing. And I think all this shit keeps happening to you.
Until you learn a lesson.
You know people, right, who bad shit will happen to them and they're constantly happening all the time. And it's like, you've acted the same way each time. Yep. Maybe try this time, act a bit cooler.
There's a guy I know who's going through a thing at his work, and it's literally the exact same thing he went through about 5 years ago with his previous job.
Right.
So he left that job because this stuff was happening, and he started another job, and within about 5 years, literally exactly the same stuff's happening.
Same stuff.
And I said to him, maybe somebody's trying to tell you you've got a lesson you need to learn here. And he's kind of a bit woohoo anyway. And he's like, do you know what? I'm having to have a long, hard look at myself. How come I've ended up in this situation again? Because 9 times out of 10, the situations we find ourselves in are either of our own making or it's our reaction to the lead up to the situation that's created the situation. 9 times out of 10, it's how we react to a situation that determines whether it's a problem or not. I remember coming to the conclusion years ago, there's no such thing as a bad thing or a bad experience or a good experience. There's just experiences. It's the filter you choose to place over your brain that determines whether it's good or it's bad.
Good or bad.
Because you've had that experience with your van today. It's not great, and it's a bit of a pain in the arse for Gemma to drive back down and get you. But you'll learn something from it. There was something you'll learn from it. You know what I mean?
I mean, maybe there'll be something they learn, but the whole thing is as well...
You need a new van.
I need a new van. I was actually thinking when the wheel was broke last week, the tyre, I was thinking it'd be nice if I could just borrow a van now and again, and I wouldn't need a car. That would do me.
Put that out there. Anybody got a van?
Just
Neil
leave
can
it
borrow
somewhere
when he
and I
needs.
can come down, get the keys and
exactly.
pick
Put a wee lockbox thing with the key in it. Give him the code. You'll leave it and you'll clean it. You'll wash it out.
Clean it and wash it out.
So it'll be fine.
When you say good or bad, that's what I was talking to a guy, and he was saying that. He says, I don't think there is the good or bad. And I was like, that's interesting. There's no good and bad because I've says everybody knows what's right and wrong, good and bad. But maybe there's no, it's just what it is.
That is what it is.
And
you have
a wee moral compass, and then you can see where you go.
Everything's on the Kai Balian says that everything is on the same plane. So love and hate are on the same plane, good and bad on the same plane. It's just how you interpret it.
How you take it.
How you take it, exactly.
But that's it. But even like I'll get back up the road tonight and I don't need to go anywhere tomorrow. You know, see if I had a job where I had to drive to the... That's a fucking...
You can sclaff across with gay abandon. What was the other phrase we were using to describe you going to your... What? Sachet across
but
with
that's
your sliders
it. It's like,
on.
so I don't need to. So maybe that's how I was calmed, because it doesn't really matter if I have a van or not.
It's not like you've got a shit ton of Hermes deliveries to do tomorrow.
Exactly it. Man.
So there but go.
So it's fine. It's just what did I see the day when I was in the cemetery? The thing it was just in between. I go the wee walk. It was just in between picking up stuff, and I said, "So there's a cemetery. I'm going to go in." Promoted to glory was on one of them, and I was like,
yes.
that's a great name for a band or a great name for a podcast, Promoted to Glory.
But did we not talk about what would be? Oh no, it was what would you say on your deathbed? But as the follow-up question, what would you want on your tombstone? There you go, promoted to glory.
It was fucking brilliant.
And again, to go back to Leo Barrow's question about the benefits of joining up to the cult, as soon as you sign up at patreon.com/SMRE, you're promoted to glory.
Promoted to
I
glory.
don't know what else I can say to convince you. Plus, it's £4 a month.
The Promoted to Glory thing, but I was in there as well, and it wasn't far from here, the cemetery, and there was the daughter died at 27 years old in the 50s. Then the dad died 10 years after. Then the mum finally died. She lived 32 years. So I'll like walk through and I'll look at that, and then I was thinking, the mum lost the daughter. The two parents lost the daughter. Then the dad went 10 years later. So the mum had like a good few years herself. So it's like, she what was she doing? Was she just
OnlyFans?
It was her. I don't know thing. Was she thinking, I wonder what about my daughter? Was she did she spend her life thinking about her daughter?
No, because I'll tell you how I know, because she lived for 42 years more. See the old couples that I'm not being funny, but those couples that they'll die really close together. It's because they want to be with the other person and they just give up. They don't hold on to life anymore. She obviously felt life was still worth living. She dealt with loss. There was that documentary we were talking about when we were having our pizza earlier on Netflix. One of the points they kept making was that the family of the guy that was murdered 30 years are still trying to come to terms with it. And I'm a hard bastard, and I'm saying to Mary, fucking move on. Fucking 30 years, come on, fucking move on. He wasn't even your full brother. He was your fucking half brother. Move on.
See, if anything like that happened to me, I'd be the guy who people talk and they say he's never really moved on. He's not really moved on. He's
but that's where the cult would be here to help you. We would all rally around.
The male community.
Aye, absolutely.
It's great. I've just got all these men to help me out. It's brilliant. All these men.
It's all we need. It's all men need in life is other men, which is not gay at all. Trigger warning. Right, what do you want to do, Neil? Because I know your missus is coming. She texts you.
What time we at? Oh no. All right. Okay. Cool.
What you
thinking? You kicking me out?
Not at all, mate. I'm just thinking.
Do you want to look at that this year? And we can refresh it a couple of times.
Right, so before we dive into it, on my other podcast, the designer's interviewing, he was talking about some of the shady practices they used to get up to, where they would create fake accounts and fake like reviews and all that sort of stuff, and fake work people, where they would Photoshop a head onto a uniform and all that and put it up, and customer service and everything. So they would use a website called, what's it called?
This person does not exist.
This person does not exist.com. Bring it up, Cam.
This might not be great for audio listeners, but
no. It's basically, if you for fuck's sake, that one's gone wrong. This person doesn't exist.com. When you listen to podcasts, load the website up. Every time you refresh the page, it creates a new face. These are not real people.
Wow.
These are computer generated via algorithm.
That looks real. It looks real.
How real does that look? Fucking hell, man.
Benjamin.
But look at his eyes though.
Even that, I think that looks. It just looks like the camera's short. The light.
Aye, the lighting's funny.
That's a picture of Howland.
There's Brendan.
That's a picture of that.
Oh man,
that's a weird one. That's a bit androgynous.
That does look a bit
it?
weird. But how are they doing it then? How did they do that? See, she looks real. Looks real.
There's Reddit Substacks on it.
She looks real. Look at this
Oh
guy's
my
face.
God.
That's what this guy was saying. He says sometimes if there's other people in the picture, it goes all wrong and it looks like they're deformed. That's creepy. What is that between the two of them?
That there.
That's like a bit of brain or something, man.
I was talking to a person in marketing, and they were saying, like, see on big billboards when you have a lot of people, they have things like this where they would change so many people to black, so many people Chinese, white, wherever it was.
To make it diverse.
Wherever it was,
inclusive. That one's a bit strange.
There's Nicola Sturgeon.
Some of the eyes are wrong.
But it's
I don't even know, man. It's like if somebody says, "Look, here's a picture of my new girlfriend," I'd be like,
"Would you want to check out her
OnlyFans though?" She's nice.
I came across a thing on Instagram. It was like screenshotted from a different website, and it was someone had actually fallen in love with one of the pictures on these.
Aye. Love at first sight. See, this is crazy. If
That
I
guy's
was
missing,
if,
that
but
guy's
this-
missing half his glasses.
So he is. But if I was a conspiracy guy, I would say these were the people that were on the flights.
It's a good point. Look, it's
I'm not a
very-
conspiracy guy though,
It's very
so
easy to create a fake person.
fucking brilliant.
You could create a whole Facebook profile, Neil.
It's so, it's so crazy. It's just crazy, man, that they look like real people, but they're just a mix. But that's like that guy. It's
There's
Madeline
Madeline
McCann. That's like that. Like she looks.
That's
real, man.
mental.
That's so crazy. But these are no real people.
They're not
These
real.
people don't exist.
No.
There's no fucking physical person, but they've got pictures
Yep.
on the beach next to rocks and all
Well,
this.
that's what I was going to say. What's interesting to me is the background.
Yeah.
That one there is not a great example. Neither is that. I'll try and find one that's
Neither
quite
is
There's
that.
folk that are outdoors and there's
Aye,
scenery.
that's it.
like that. There is like look at this.
You won't
Keanu
get it back. You
Reeves.
can't get it back.
Aye, that's gone.
And it's literally
So
it won't
crazy, man.
repeat itself. Anybody can go into this and just hit refresh, and you'll never see the same person twice.
But this is what I'm saying. See, when anybody watches mainstream telly or mainstream anything, how do you know it's no people like
Exactly.
that? It could be just as much as it could be a
It's
real
just a
person.
video
It could be
version of
that.
Like that almost looks like trees, but you can tell it's not
Aye.
And the
really.
hair's
Aye,
a
aye.
bit wonky in that one.
Aye.
So you
Pretty
wouldn't choose
mental,
that
man.
one. Right, so we'll start to wrap up. Any comments that we need to cover off before we finish, Cam?
There's just a general people changing their profile pictures to you.
Who else has done it?
Scott's done it. Howland's done it.
Fucking hell.
Gordy Browse is joined us. Hello, YouTube friends.
Oh, hello.
How you doing, Gordy?
Hello, internet friends.
Thing is, but those comments will be on this video on YouTube forever, and it's just going to be a sea of my face.
Robert Cassidy says feels like a proper cult now after they
Thank
all
you,
changed
Robert.
it.
Thank
Hello,
you.
Rob.
It was funny because I could see my avatar in the comments right at the start, and I was like, "How the fuck is somebody commenting under my username?"
I've been hacked.
Aye.
Howland says, have you heard the computer generated music as well? Mad. That's known as
not seen that.
Muzak, spelled Muzak.
Oh, okay.
Gordy Browse says, this is the kind of community you get with Patreon.
There we go.
Is that a compliment?
I think so.
Yeah.
All right, okay. Cheers, Gordy. Cheers, Gordy Browse. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Is that us, Cam?
Think so, yeah.
Right,
Excellent.
Neil,
Right,
you've
well,
got-
sorry I can't do the live, but Cam will be here and it'll probably be way better than fucking me.
It'll certainly be
anyway, so-
different. It'll certainly be different. Right, cheers for watching. Cheers for choosing to subscribe. If you haven't hit subscribe, just do it now. Give the video a like, all of that stuff. We know the numbers don't matter, but it gives us a warm glow when we're trying to get you sleep at night. If you're an audio podcast listener, love it. Really appreciate it. All the folk that send us screenshots of listening in their car, except no screenshots, that would be weird. Photographs and them listening in their cars, we really appreciate that as well. And just your support and your continued listenership and viewership, we
thanks very
genuinely do
much.
appreciate it.
Yep. And I hope Lime Tree Plastering's doing alright as well. We've not seen him.
He liked one of my Instagram
Oh,
posts.
did he?
Aye,
So
aye,
he's still alive.
He's
Good.
not been about for a wee while. Though. Didn't he follow up on my offer to launder his money for him? I don't know. I think he's wanting a barber shop opened and we'll do it through that. Thank you, guys. Appreciate
Right, thanks very much. Excellent. See you later.